Hola, hola, Senorita Christopher here, coming to you with another lesson. Today, we're going to be learning about ser and how to use the conjugation of ser to make descriptions. More specifically, how to describe our personality. So if we were making a simple introduction in Spanish, telling others about ourselves and our personality, how would we form those sentences? Well, let's proceed to look. If I were talking about myself, I would use the phrase yo soy, which translates to I am. Yo soy atlética. Yo soy inteligente. Yo soy popular. So whenever the subject is yo, meaning I'm talking about myself because yo is I, you would use soy. So what if I'm talking directly to the person? We would use the phrase tú eres, which means you are. Tú eres responsable. Tú eres artística. Tú eres social. So whenever the subject is tú, if you see this sentence and the subject is tú, or if you're talking directly to the person informally, you would use eres. So if you see tú, you use eres. You see tú, you use eres. You formal. So as you can recall from our previous video, tú versus usted, in Spanish, they have two ways to say you in Spanish, or at least two of the ways. So this time we're talking about the formal way. The informal way is when you're talking to your peers or family members. That was the tú familiar. But now we're talking more formal, someone that you don't know that well, someone who is in authority, or someone significantly older than you. So if the subject were usted, you formal, you would use the verb es, which translates to you are. Usted es generoso. Usted es cómico. Usted es un doctor. So whenever the subject is usted, or if you're talking to the person formally, you use es. So what about if we're talking about a single individual? Good question. If we're describing a person, we're trying to say Mary is funny or Sam is intelligent, we would use the verb es. The way we would construct our sentence is we will put the person's name and then we would put es, and then we would enter our descriptor. Here's some examples. Deshaun es un atleta. Mi papá es un doctor. El hombre es un actor famoso. So if you see how it matches up with our framework, person's name, es, and then a description. So whenever the subject is one person or thing, we use es. Even if you didn't know what a certain word in the sentence means, but you knew it was the subject of the sentence, if it doesn't end in an S, in more cases than not, it's safe to assume that it's singular, and so that you can use S to form the description. All right, that was a lot of information. Let's take a moment to process, digest, and see what is how much that we can recall. Let's practice a little bit. So for this case scenario, I want you to complete the sentences with the correct conjugation of ser using our notes to the left. Our first example, we have usted respetuoso. So we're trying to say you are respectful. All right, the first thing we want to do when trying to figure out the correct conjugation is figure out who our subject is. Our subject in this sentence is usted. Usted is you formal. So based on our notes, whenever the subject is you formal, we would use es. And I'll highlight that for you in the notes. Whenever the subject is usted, which is you formal, we would use es. So let's check it out in our example, see if we got that correct. Yep. All right, go ahead and pause the video, do the next two examples on your own, and then press play when you're ready to check your answers. Okay, are you ready? Let's reveal the next two answers. It is yo Soy tranquila. Good. So the subject is yo, and whenever our subject is yo, we would use the verb soy. I am calm. I am chill. I am peaceful, tranquil. All right, let's do our next example. El chico es malo. Muy bien. Even if you didn't know what El Chico means, remember, we can figure out that we're talking about one person if the word doesn't end in the S. It doesn't end in the S here. It's safe to assume we're talking about one person, which would require the verb S. Look back in our notes. Whenever the subject is one person or thing, we use S. All right, we are doing fantastic, ladies and gentlemen. I think we can go on. All right, so we talked about if we're talking about ourselves, if we were describing the person we're talking directly to, and if we're talking about a single individual. But what about if we're talking about a group of people? Glad you asked. Well, if I'm talking about a group of people, including myself, we would use the verb somos. The way we say we in Spanish is nosotros. So together we would have nosotros somos, which translates to we are. Here are some examples. María y yo somos estudiosos. Nosotras somos artistas. Mis amigos y yo somos buenos. Each of these examples require the verb somos because I'm talking about us collectively as a group, we, or I say another person, and myself, Maria and I, my friends and I. It's other people, including myself. So whenever the subject is nosotros, or if you're talking about yourself and others, which is a group of people, including yourself, we use somos. Somos. What about if I'm not including myself and I'm talking about other people? Well, if I were saying y'all or vosotros, I would say vosotros sois, which is y'all are. Now take a moment to digress to say vosotros is not used over all of Latin America or Spanish-speaking countries. It's more commonly used in places like Spain and Argentina. So you might not hear that term everywhere, but I still wanted to introduce you to it so that you'll be familiar with it. Okay, back to the lesson. So here are our examples. We have vosotros sois creativos, vosotros sois pacientes, vosotros sois reservados. So whenever the subject is vosotros, if you see vosotros in the sentence, and that is the subject, or if you're talking about others, a group of people, not including yourself, you would use sois. What about if you're talking about two or more people? You're talking about multiple people. You're trying to say they do something. Mary and Bob does something. My friends did something. Well, if you're talking about two or more people, you would use the verb son, which means are. Haley y Amber son estudiantes, which translates to Haley and Amber are students. Las chicas son bailarinas. The girls are dancers. Los amigos son unidos. The friends are united, or the friends are close-knit. So whenever the subject is multiple, meaning two or more people, not including yourself, you use son. All right, just to recap, everything that we've learned in the lesson so far, where you're talking about yourself, you use yo soy. So if you have yo, then you would also use the verb soy, which means I am. If you're talking directly to the person informally, you would use tú eres. If you see tú, then write the verb eres. If you're talking about one person, use es, which means is. If you're talking about yourself and others, or we, you would use somos. If you're talking directly to a group of people, you can use sois. Or if you're talking about two or more people, or you're talking to a group of people, you can use son. So son can also be used to talk to two or more people. Like if you're trying to say you all are, and that is more commonly used over all of Latin America and Spanish-speaking countries. All right, here is the moment of truth. We need to do some practice. Now, you may have understood while I was going over the video, but let's see if you really understood by doing some practice examples. You ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. All right. So using the vocabulary words on the left, as well as the notes, I want you to write descriptions of the people in the sentence. So you're going to complete the sentence, and you're going to write your descriptions based on the picture cues. I'm going to go over the pictures just to help you. In this first sentence, you want to say, you are intelligent. So you're talking directly to the person. The next sentence, you're trying to say, they are silly. They're making a silly face. And the last sentence, the description that you're going to use is quiet. We have a person shushing and a person with their mouth zipped. So we can say that is a quiet individual. All right, go ahead and pause the video. Take a moment to write out your answers, or at least think about them, and then we'll discuss it. Okay, got enough time? Let's go ahead and check our answer. So in our first sentence, our subject is tú, and we're trying to say you are intelligent. If I look at my notes, whenever the subject is tú, we will use eres. So let's go ahead and put that together with the word intelligent on our vocab list. Here it is, number 5. And so our final thing would say, tú eres inteligente. Good. Let's reveal our next two answers. Ellos son tontos. We put an S on tontos because we're talking about more than one person. So whenever we're talking about a group of people, we're going to make our adjective plural. And finally, we have Luis y yo somos callados. Luis y yo somos callados. Just in case you need me to explain the answers, let's discuss it. In our second example, we have ellos. Even if you didn't know what ellos mean, you know that ellos is a group of people because it ends in an S. It indicates plurality. So if we look at our notes, it doesn't say y'all, it doesn't say two. I'm not talking about one person because it ends in an S. So we know it's at least more than one person. I'm not talking about we because it doesn't say nosotros, or it doesn't say a person y yo. It doesn't say vosotros, but I do know I'm talking about two or more people because it ends in an S, so we would use son. Are you with me so far? Okay. If not, just leave any questions that you have in the comments, and then I'll address it to make it more clear. All right, and then we have our word for silly on our vocab list, which is number 10, tonto. Tonto. Okay, so our next example, we have Luis y yo. Now remember, we talked about this. Whenever you have a person's name and yourself, remember yo means I, so we're saying we did something. I'm talking about we did something. I'm including myself in the group. Myself and others, person's name y yo, we use somos. And then on our vocab list, the word for quiet, number 3, is callado. All right, that concludes our video. I know that was a lot to digest, but I hope that it helped you at least somewhat and that you're getting closer to being able to form descriptions in Spanish. It's not going to come right away, but the more that you practice, the more naturally it will come to you. So that concludes our video. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, if you did like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. And be sure to stay tuned in for more videos by hitting the subscriptions and turning on notifications. All right, guys, thanks. Until next time.